Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. No one's come in yet, but that's okay. Just wanted to share this. This was in my heart to share. I pray that everyone has had a blessed day today. It is indeed a blessing to be alive. And I wanted to start out with reading Proverbs 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And also wanted to let anyone know or everyone know that God knows what is best for all of us. He remains faithful when we are faithless. And just wanted to give a brief excuse me, a brief testimony of how the Lord has really showed up and just shown really big in my life. Back in 2010, I had taken on a job in my former state. This particular position, it really interested me when I was applying for it, and at the time, my late husband, he would always help me find jobs and things like that. So he said, "Hey, I think this one is, you may like this one." And so anyway, the job was to be the executive assistant to the director at it was a company that we provided childcare to low income families. I'm sorry. And so that's what it was. So it just really, really, intrigued me, the details of the job. I love to, at that time in my life, I was really caught up on titles and being busy and wanted to be known for doing things. And the Lord took that away from me. But at that particular time in my life, I still was carrying that. But anyway, it really interested me. So I went on in and I went in for the interview. The Lord blessed me with the job. And so it didn't pay a whole lot. I took a huge pay cut from the job that I was currently at. And then it was a 30-minute commute each day, which was, it was really breaking us on the gas. But nevertheless, the Lord still blessed me in a mighty way. And what He didn't give me in my pocket, He gave to me in my soul from others and allowed me to bless them as well. So anyway, in the interview, the director went on to say that, the interview was very intense, and he went on to say the last thing he said, "You're going to have to do some other things in this position as well." And I said, "What do you mean?" And so I immediately got defensive because I didn't understand what he meant by that. But what he was saying, his wife had recently passed away a few months before this interview, and the interview that was giving me, and he was saying that he was having a real hard time adjusting. So, here I am, I'm married and everything. I really could not relate, but still my heart went out to him, and he was always in my prayers. So he was old enough to be my dad. He was like maybe in his, I'll say late 60s, maybe 70, but I think it was mid to late 60s. But anyway, I did inform him. I said I would, do my best to help him. So anyway, I got the job, and I started working shortly after the interview, and I was just so excited. I had my own office, and things were just really going good. And I just asked the Lord, just really blessed me. I worked there from 2010 to 2012, and it was just such a blessing to work at that place because I came into the knowledge of so much that the Lord was speaking through others to me, and it was just really, if you will, it was like a heavenly position, because it was just such a beautiful job, and I was able to work on the newsletter there, and I was able to contribute my ideas to that, and so it was just really a good job. Like I said, it didn't pay that much, but that soon went away from me. I didn't care about that because I just wanted to do what the Lord wanted me to do. And I had prayed and asked the Lord. I knew that job was from Him because I said, "Lord, use me, excuse me, on my next job. I don't want to just be an employee there. I want to have a purpose." And He indeed allowed me to have a purpose there. So I was very thankful for that. But I'm telling you all this. This is the backstory. I helped, or the Lord allowed me to help this man. There were so many days that he was crying and upset about his spouse recently passing away, and you know, I never ignored it, or I never put it off as, oh, that's his problem. It bothered me because I was going home to my husband and my 4 children, and so that bothered me to know that somebody was suffering like this. And he knew the Lord, he was in the Lord and everything, but he was just really having a hard time adjusting to her recent death. And so they were best friends. They had been married a long time, so you can imagine that it was a really, really big loss for him at that time in his life. And so, anyway, we prayed together. We talked about the Lord together. There were days where he couldn't even hardly make it through. He would go home early, and then, you know, I would just pray for him. And I would take that home with me because that bothered me that, you know, this man was going through this. And so, again, I never ignored it, or I never put it off as that was his, you know, something he was dealing with. It bothered me that he was going through that. So anyway, before I left, I worked there for 2 years, but before I left, the Lord allowed me to witness him getting remarried. He ended up marrying a lady who her husband had passed away, and then of course his wife had passed away. So biblically, they were in the right to remarry. And so I didn't get a chance to go to the wedding or anything, but the Lord just really and truly blessed me to see that, because I said, thank you, Lord, for answering all of it. It wasn't just me praying for him. It was a lot of people, I'm sure. But he just seemed like he was so happy after he met this lady. So, and she, same with her. But anyway, I left there after 2 years. The Lord led me back to the city that I had left, and because I was just 30-minute commute from where I actually lived. And so the Lord allowed me to go back, because the wear and tear on the car and then on me, because I would have to get myself together before I would get on that 30-minute drive back home. And it was just getting to be a bit much. And we managed it for 2 years, but then it got old. So anyway, the Lord placed me back into the city that I actually lived in, and I was thankful for that. And he opened up another door for me there with another job. And so I started that job right after. I didn't even really have any rest. I resigned from that job, and then the next week I was starting the new job. So it was just busy, to say the least. But anyway, the Lord allowed me to go through that for a purpose and for his plan, because little did I know would come some many years later, I would be dealing with that same thing myself. And the Lord just allowed me to, he reminded me in the spirit, the same energy that I had given to this older gentleman about his loved one passing away. The Lord said, you know, you use that same thing that you told him, that it's going to be okay. You pray, you ask for my strength and my guidance and my peace, and everything's going to be all right. So the Lord reminded me of that, and I just kind of laughed to myself, because, you know, what we tell others a lot of times, we may have to use that sometimes not even years later. We may have to use it in a few hours or a few minutes later for ourselves. So it was basically encouragement coming back to me. I remembered what I had told him, how the Lord was going to get him through and everything was going to be okay. So when my husband passed away in 2021, that came in my spirit, and the Lord reminded me of that, to have that same frame of mind, that everything is going to be okay, and that he doesn't make mistakes, and everything he does is perfect and it's in order. No matter how we feel about it, it's right. Everything's going to be okay, because he made the decision, and he don't make mistakes. So I was very thankful. I believe that helped me get through a lot of days and nights. And of course, I still miss my late husband, and the children miss their dad, and the whole family misses him, because he was had a beautiful spirit. But we know he's in a better place. But my point of this video is to let you all know that the Lord is in control of everything. Everyone grieves differently. Some people, they seek counseling. There's nothing wrong with that. The Lord informed me that I didn't need to do that. He was going to be he's the great counselor. He said, "You look to me for everything, and I'm going to bless you, but you must obey me. So I can give you everything that I said I was going to give you, but you must do what I tell you." So um, I do my best. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But I do my best every day to try to help someone, to try to encourage someone, and try to use what I've been through to help somebody else. Because truth is, we all need each other. And we need to be encouraged. We're going to get the great encouragement from the word, from the Lord. But we're down here not just for ourselves. We're here for others too. And so we're blessed to be a blessing. And so I just thank the Lord for allowing me to go through so many things in my life that have proven to be indeed for my good. It all worked together for my good. And I'm so thankful and grateful because when it all comes down to it, when we put our trust in the Lord, He will work everything out. We don't have to worry about looking for answers. The Lord has already provided the answer to us on what to do. We just need to read His Word, and we must have a relationship with Him to know exactly what He will have us to do. So I'm just thankful. I wanted to share that because this gentleman was such a blessing to me. And like I stated, I did not know that some years later, I was going to be going through the same thing. And I'm so thankful to the Lord that I didn't take his situation lightly. I would go home and I would mention it to my late husband about how I felt some type of way that he was without his wife that had passed away. That bothered me. It really bothered me so much. And so me and my late husband would talk about that, and I could literally feel his hurt and his grief in his talking, and how he was in his how he was acting each day at work. And so I really believe, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, that the Lord placed me there to encourage him, not only him, but the other people that were in the program office too. But the Lord placed me there especially for him because, because it was an answered prayer, because I had asked the Lord to place me somewhere where He could use me in a mighty way and where I could make a difference or I could help someone. So didn't know it was going to come like that, because I've never had to answer to anyone who's been in that, that's had that happen in their lives, loss of a loved one, an immediate boss. It had never happened to me. So, the Lord answers our prayer. He hears us when we pray. It may not come how we want it to come, but it comes right on time. He's perfect. So he knows what's best for us, and he continues to look out for us. And again, he's faithful when we are faithless. So let's just be thankful in that. I pray that this video blesses someone. I pray that you receive something from it. That's just what's in my spirit to share, because as I stated before, we're not just here we're not on this earth just for ourselves and to do what we want to do and how we want to do it. We're here to help each other. We all need each other. I know sometimes it seems like people, we all as people, we can kind of, say, hey, I don't, I want to just be to myself, which is nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is that we can encourage someone. So just please be mindful of that, and let's just thank the Lord for being so gracious and merciful to us all when we sure don't deserve it. But He still sits high on the throne. He sits high and He looks low, and He cares so much for all of us. So again, I pray that this video blesses someone, and please leave comments down below if this blessed you, or whatever you have to comment will be appreciated. And I pray that if you're not a subscriber, I pray that you become a subscriber, because I have dedicated this channel to the Lord, and I will always honor Him and glorify Him forever. So I just pray that this video blesses someone. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.